Listen, a good day for us to check in with the doctor, Dr. Gridlock. He's Robert Thomson from the Washington Post, and he joins us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so let's start first, because there are two things that are out there about I-66. I mean, this is a major commuter route into the district and out of the district, and they're talking about changes. Let's start first with the changes that are being proposed inside the Beltway.
Well, inside the Beltway, they would go all hot. All of the lanes of I-66 would become hot lanes. This is the most interesting proposal in the D.C. region's transportation system. With the other hot lanes, and there's 40 miles of them now in Virginia, with the other hot lanes, it was adding lanes to an existing system. Inside the Beltway on 66, that would be converting all the lanes to high occupancy toll.
All right, but there's some history about agreements and promises that were made about I-66 inside the Beltway that complicate this, aren't there?
Well, it's a very old agreement, and I think it could be subject to further legal testing. But the idea originally was that the 2 lanes in each direction on I-66 inside the Beltway would not be widened. And in fact, this particular proposal does not call for widening the highway in converting them to hot lanes.
And outside the Beltway, I-66?
That's a bit different. What you have outside the Beltway would be 3 regular lanes in each direction and 2 hot lanes in each direction, where right now you just have the 1 HOV lane in each direction. So that would be adding a lane in each direction outside the Beltway. Only there's the catch that you'd have to pay a toll or carpool to use them.
And what's the timeline on something like that?
Well, inside the Beltway is relatively easy. That's because all you have to do, since you're not widening the highway, is put up your tolling equipment, all those gantries that people right now see on the Beltway and on I-95 in Virginia. So that could be done theoretically by 2017. Outside the Beltway, that's another story. That's a huge construction project that would be quite a mess for many years.
Let's talk about the inside the Beltway issue, because it seems to me that this is just a fundraiser. Because the fact is, a whole lot of people don't have a choice. They're not going to be carpooling. They're not going to be having a high occupancy vehicle. And so the only way to handle their commute, as they've been handling it, is to start paying a toll. I mean, am I being too cynical when I look at this?
Oh, no. In fact, it definitely is a fundraiser. The Virginia government is quite upfront in saying that. The reason for tolling is to fulfill a commitment to make it more transit-friendly to use I-66 inside the Beltway. In other words, the revenue from the tolling would go to adding bus services and building new carpool lots outside the Beltway, so that people would have more of a choice about how to commute on I-66.
So basically, all of the people who are currently driving I-66 and using their cars to commute inside the Beltway, they're going to be subsidizing people who are currently or may in the future be using buses or carpools.
Well, consider a couple of things. First of all, that only HOV drivers at rush hour can use inside the Beltway 66 right now.
Right.
So there's that factor. You're actually saying to people, okay, you want to pay a toll? You can use I-66 inside the Beltway. I guess the catch there is that a lot of those folks who use 66, who may be driving it right now, were hoping that what the plan would turn out to be was widening 66 inside the Beltway and not adding tolls.
Well, there have been some hearings about this, and no doubt you're getting a lot of questions. What are people concerned about?
They're concerned about, how come I have to pay a toll? They're concerned about, how come you just don't widen the highway? And what the Virginia Department of Transportation comes back with is something along the lines of, look, if we just flat out widen the thing to relieve traffic, what we'd have to have is 9 lanes in each direction. And there's no way that that's going to be done. And in fact, the people who live along that route wouldn't put up with that.
Right. So, but the alternative is more congestion, more traffic, more gridlock. Doctor.
Oh, yes, very much so. That's my business.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that seems to be everybody complains about the traffic, but nobody wants more highways and nobody wants more wider roads.
Absolutely. We're determined to have congestion relief and equally determined not to pay for it.
Right. All right. So meanwhile, if they do go ahead and add the lanes and widen I-66 further out, how did you say that stretch would be 25 miles? 25
miles outside the Beltway. That's right.
I see.
All the way between the Beltway and Haymarket, Route 15.
Wow. That's a lot of construction.
It sure is.
Can I ask you another question on a topic that we haven't talked about before, and that's the streetcars down on H Street in the district. It seems that they're still struggling with whether or not that's going to work. What's the latest on that?
Well, as background, I've been to 3 groundbreakings for that streetcar project with 3 different mayors, and they're struggling right now to get their certification, their safety clearance to go ahead. And we keep hearing various deadlines, and the city breaks through those various deadlines to the point now that the Bowser administration is saying, look, we're not setting any deadline. When the thing's ready, it's ready, which is probably a prudent thing to say.
And is there any understanding as to whether that magic date is coming soon and when it is going to be ready?
I've understood that it's coming soon for about 5 years.
All right, then. There you go. But the money's been spent. That's the important thing.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Dr. Gridlock, always good to have you. Robert Thomson, you find him, of course, at Washington Post.